Yes, Americans can move to Portugal. And in 2026, more are doing it than ever before. Save this video right now and grab something to write with. This is part 1 of a 2-part complete guide: visas, taxes, citizenship, and the honest challenges. Subscribe so you don't miss part 2. Let's get into it. Why Americans are choosing Portugal. Before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. Because Portugal isn't just a trend, it's a structural decision for a lot of Americans. Portugal sits on the southwestern edge of Europe. Atlantic coastline on the west, Spain on the east. A country of about 10 million people, and it has been quietly building one of the most welcoming residency frameworks for non-EU nationals in the entire European Union. Here's what's driving the numbers. 1. Portugal is 30 to 40% cheaper than the United States on average. Consumer prices in the US run roughly 64% higher than in Portugal. A comfortable single person's lifestyle in most of Portugal runs $1,300 to $1,800 a month. In Lisbon, the most expensive city in the country, that number rises to $1,800 to $2,500. Compare that to what you're paying right now, and you'll understand why people are leaving. 2. Portugal consistently ranks among the safest countries on Earth. In the 2025 Global Peace Index, it ranked 7th globally. 3. Portugal has a universal public healthcare system called the SNS, Serviço Nacional de Saúde. Once you have legal residency and register with the system, you access public healthcare at little to no cost. Private health insurance starts at around $45 to $67 a month for a basic plan. Compare that to what Americans pay, and the math becomes extremely clear, extremely fast. We cover healthcare in full detail in part 2. 4. Southern Portugal gets over 300 days of sunshine a year. Even in Lisbon, winters are mild. Snow is essentially unheard of. And 5. Once you have Portuguese residency, you can travel freely throughout all 26 Schengen area countries without day counting. And after a period of legal residency, which we'll cover shortly, you can apply for Portuguese citizenship and an EU passport. That passport currently provides visa-free access to 187 countries. The 4 visa pathways for Americans. This is the most important section of this video, because there is no single answer to how Americans move to Portugal. There are 4 main pathways, and the right one depends entirely on your situation. Pathway 1, the D7 Passive Income Visa. This is the most popular route for American retirees and passive income earners. It's sometimes called the retirement visa, though there's no age requirement. The D7 is designed for anyone who can support themselves without taking a job in the Portuguese economy. So, who actually qualifies for the D7? Retirees living on Social Security or pension income. People with rental income from US properties. Investors receiving dividends or interest income. Anyone with steady, passive, recurring income from outside Portugal. One important thing before we move on. Before Portugal introduced the digital Nomad visa, remote workers used the D7 and it was accepted. That is largely no longer the case. If you earn active income remotely from an employer or clients, the D7 is not your route. Your pathway is the D8, and we're covering that next. Here are the income requirements for 2026. The minimum is €920, approximately $1,085 per month for a single applicant. Add €460, approximately $540 per month for a spouse or dependent parent. Add €276, approximately $325 per month for each dependent child. So, a married couple needs to show at least €1,380, approximately $1,625 per month in passive income. Beyond monthly income, you also need to show savings. And this is important to understand clearly. This is not a fee. It is not money you spend or hand over to anyone. It is your money sitting in a Portuguese bank account that you show the consulate as proof you can support yourself. The same account you will open in step 2 of the process we are about to walk through. The amount required is €11,040, approximately $13,000, for a single applicant. That is 12 months of Portugal's minimum wage, which is the benchmark they use. For a couple, add €5,520, approximately $6,500, for the spouse. For each child, add €3,312, approximately $3,900. Once your visa is approved and you are living in Portugal, that money remains yours. You are simply proving it exists. Outside of income and savings, here is everything else you will need. A valid passport with at least 6 months remaining validity. A clean FBI background check. Apostilled and notarized. Proof of accommodation in Portugal. A rental agreement of at least 12 months, or a property deed if you're buying. A Portuguese NIF number, the tax identification number. An active Portuguese bank account. Private health insurance valid for Portugal and the Schengen area. A cover letter explaining your reasons for relocating. Now let's walk through the full process from start to finish. Step 1. Get your NIF number remotely through a Portuguese lawyer. This is required before you can open a bank account or sign a lease. Step 2. Open a Portuguese bank account. Transfer your required savings. Step 3. Secure accommodation. Sign a lease before you apply. Step 4. Gather all documents. Every document from the US needs to be apostilled, a specific form of authentication, and in some cases, notarized. Step 5. Schedule an appointment at the Portuguese consulate in the US. There are consulates in Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, San Francisco, and Newark. Wait times vary. Some consulates run months out. Book as early as possible. Step 6. Attend your consulate appointment, submit your documents, and pay the approximately $105 visa fee. Step 7. Wait for processing, typically 2 to 4 months at the consulate. Step 8. If approved, you receive a 120-day entry visa stamped in your passport. Step 9. Travel to Portugal within that 120-day window. Step 10. Book your IMAR appointment. IMAR is Portugal's immigration agency. This is where you register for your actual 2-year residence permit card. Step 11. Attend your IMAR appointment in Portugal. Biometrics collected. Residence permit card processed and mailed to your Portuguese address. Now, here is something you need to hear before we move on. As of 2026, IMAR is working through significant backlogs. After your appointment, residence permit processing is currently taking anywhere from 12 to 24 months. You are a legal resident during that entire waiting period. You can live in Portugal. You can work. You can access services. But your card takes time, and your planning needs to reflect that. We cover exactly what that means for your travel rights in Part 2. Total realistic timeline from starting preparation to card in hand, 9 to 18 months minimum. The permit is valid for 2 years, then renewable for 3 years. After 5 years of legal residency, you can apply for permanent residency. After 10 years, under the 2026 rules, Portuguese citizenship. Pathway 2, the D8 Digital Nomad Visa. Portugal introduced this visa specifically for remote workers and freelancers. If you earn active income remotely, from an employer outside Portugal or from freelance clients outside Portugal, this is your route. Here is the income requirement for 2026. €3,680 per month minimum, approximately $4,340. That is 4 times Portugal's minimum wage. You need to demonstrate this is ongoing and documented. Employment contracts, client contracts, bank statements showing consistent income. Other requirements are largely the same as the D7, NIF, Portuguese bank account, accommodation, clean background check, health insurance. The key difference, you're showing active earned income, not passive income. The D8 actually comes in 2 versions. A temporary stay visa, valid for 1 year, lets you test the experience. A full residency visa, same pathway to permanent residency and citizenship as the D7. One important thing to know about the D8. You're treated as a Portuguese tax resident once you arrive and spend more than 183 days in Portugal. That has implications we'll cover in the tax section coming up shortly. So who is the D8 actually right for? Remote employees working for US companies, freelancers with ongoing client income, independent contractors. At €3,680 minimum monthly income, this is not a low bar, but it is a realistic one for many US remote workers. Pathway 3, the Golden Visa. The Golden Visa is Portugal's residency by investment program. It's fundamentally different from the D7 and D8. While those visas require you to actually live in Portugal, the Golden Visa only requires you to spend an average of 7 days per year in the country. It's designed for investors who want EU residency and a citizenship pathway without fully relocating. One major change happened in 2023 that you need to know about. Real estate investment is no longer a qualifying route. The government removed it to address Portugal's housing affordability crisis. The qualifying investment options in 2026 are, first, the investment fund route. Minimum €500,000, approximately $590,000, into a qualifying Portuguese investment fund. The fund must invest at least 60% of capital into Portuguese companies. This is now the most popular route. Second, the cultural heritage route. Minimum €250,000, approximately $295,000, donated to artistic production or preservation of national cultural heritage. It is non-refundable, meaning it is a donation, not an investment. The entry point is lower, but you do not get that money back. Here is what the Golden Visa actually gives you. Residency for you, your spouse, your children under 18, and financially dependent parents. Only 7 days per year required in Portugal to maintain the visa. Full Schengen area travel rights. Permanent residency after 5 years. And citizenship under the 2026 nationality law changes after 10 years. The same 10-year rule that now applies to all visa categories in Portugal. Now, here is the complication that is specific to Americans. US citizens pursuing the Golden Visa face extra complexity. FATCA, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, means US citizens must report foreign financial accounts and investments to the IRS. Some Portuguese fund managers decline to work with Americans because of the compliance burden. It's manageable, but you need both a Portuguese immigration lawyer and a US-Portugal cross-border tax specialist working together, so budget for both. In terms of timeline, expect 18 to 24 months from preparation to card in hand. IMA processing backlogs affect the Golden Visa just as they do the D7. One important note: verify the current status with a qualified lawyer before applying. Immigration law in Portugal has been evolving quickly, and these rules can continue to change. Pathway 4, the D2 Entrepreneur Visa. This pathway is for Americans who want to start or relocate a business to Portugal. It's less commonly discussed but increasingly relevant for US founders. Here is how the D2 actually works. You submit a business plan to IMA demonstrating that your business will have a real economic impact: job creation, innovation, capital investment. There is no fixed minimum investment amount, but IMA evaluates viability, projected economic contribution, and business credibility. In practice, who is actually using this visa? US founders relocating their operating businesses. Americans opening Portuguese subsidiaries of US companies. Entrepreneurs starting new ventures in Portugal. It follows the same pathway to permanent residency and citizenship as the D7 and D8. Requires actual residency, not the minimal stay with the Golden Visa. Taxes, the honest picture for Americans. Let's start with the American reality, because this is where most videos go wrong. The United States is one of only 2 countries in the world that taxes its citizens on worldwide income, regardless of where they live. Moving to Portugal does not remove your US tax filing obligation. You still file a US tax return every year. You still report foreign bank accounts over $10,000. That's the F-bar filing. You still comply with FATCA, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, which requires reporting foreign financial assets above certain thresholds. Now let's talk about what Portugal actually taxes. Once you spend more than 183 days in Portugal, you become a Portuguese tax resident. Portugal taxes residents on worldwide income. Progressive income tax rates range from 14.5% to 48% depending on income level. Here is the good news. Portugal and the United States have a tax treaty that prevents double taxation. You can claim foreign tax credits for Portuguese taxes paid against your US liability. Most Americans living in Portugal do not end up paying tax twice, but they do end up filing in both countries, and that requires planning. Now, the NHR is gone. The non-habitual resident tax regime, NHR, was one of Portugal's most attractive tax incentives for foreign residents. It offered a 10-year flat 20% rate on qualifying income and exemptions on most foreign income. The NHR was phased out for new applicants as of January 1st, 2024. If you got in before the cutoff, you keep your benefits for the 10-year term. New residents in 2026 are no longer eligible. The replacement is called EFC. It offers a 20% flat rate on qualifying Portuguese source income and exemption on most foreign income for 10 years. The catch? It applies only to specific high-value professions. Scientists, researchers, engineers, IT professionals, doctors, executive managers. It is not broadly available the way NHR was. For retirees and passive income earners, the standard Portuguese tax rules apply. So here is the bottom line on taxes for Americans in Portugal. Budget for 2 sets of annual tax returns, US and Portuguese. Most Americans in Portugal work with both a Portuguese accountant and a US expat tax specialist. The annual cost for that professional support typically runs $1,000 to $2,500 combined. Factor that into your cost of living calculations. The pathway to Portuguese citizenship. This is important, and it changed significantly in 2026. In May 2026, Portugal's president signed amendments to the nationality law that extended the residency requirement for citizenship for most nationalities. Most nationalities, including Americans, now need 10 years of legal residency before applying for Portuguese citizenship by naturalization. Previously, it was 5 years. EU citizens and nationals of CPLP countries, former Portuguese colonies, still qualify after 7 years. The residency clock doesn't start until your official residence permit card is issued. Given current IMA backlogs of 12 to 24 months, an American moving today is realistically looking at a 12 to 13-year total commitment before citizenship. So what does Portuguese citizenship actually give you? A Portuguese passport, and by extension, an EU passport. Visa-free access to 187 countries. The right to live and work anywhere in the European Union. Portugal allows dual citizenship. You keep your US passport. There is also a language requirement worth knowing about. To apply for citizenship, you need to demonstrate A2 level Portuguese. That's basic conversational Portuguese, not fluency. There are recognized language exams, the CPIL, that satisfy this requirement. Start learning Portuguese from day one. Not just for citizenship, for your actual quality of life. The honest challenges. Every Portugal video tells you the good stuff. Here is what they don't tell you. 1. Bureaucracy. Portugal runs on paperwork. Tasks that take 1 visit in the US routinely require 3 visits in Portugal. Documents need multiple certifications, apostilles, translations, and stamps. Offices close for lunch. Systems go offline unexpectedly. Appointments at EMR are scheduled months out and can be rescheduled without warning. Americans who come to Portugal expecting US speed administration consistently report this as the hardest adjustment. This is not a complaint about Portugal. It is simply a different relationship with time and process. The people who navigate it successfully come prepared, come patient, and work with a good local immigration lawyer from day one. 2. The IMA backlogs. We covered this in the visa section, but it bears repeating here. IMAR is working through enormous backlogs. Residence permit processing after your appointment currently takes 12 to 24 months. During that waiting period, you are legally resident. You can live normally, but you don't have your physical card. That can create friction with banking, healthcare registration, and some services. Plan your timeline accordingly. Do not assume a fast process. 3. The housing competition. In Lisbon and Porto especially, the rental market is competitive. Good properties move fast. Many landlords prefer long-term tenants with established local references, which new arrivals don't have. Rents have risen significantly in both cities over the past 5 years. Book short-term accommodation for your first month or two while you search for a long-term rental on the ground. Don't sign a long-term lease remotely without seeing the property in person. 4. The language reality. English is widely spoken in Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve. Outside these areas, it becomes less reliable. Expats who invest in learning the language report a fundamentally different and better experience of living in Portugal. Those who rely entirely on English report feeling like permanent visitors. Start now. And 6. The US tax complexity. Americans do not get to simplify their tax situation by moving abroad. If anything, it gets more complex in the first few years. Hire professionals, both a Portuguese accountant and a US expat tax specialist. It costs money. It is worth every cent. Who Portugal is right for and who it isn't. Portugal is right for you. If you have passive income, pension, social security, rental income, dividends of at least €920, approximately $1,085 per month. The D7 is built for you. You work remotely for a US employer or have freelance clients earning at least €3,680, approximately $4,340 per month. The D8 is built for you. You're a retiree tired of US healthcare costs, worried about safety, or simply ready for a slower, more grounded quality of life. Portugal delivers on all three. You want an EU base without committing to full-time European residence. The Golden Visa, at 7 days per year, is one of the most flexible EU residency programs in the world. You're patient with bureaucracy and willing to invest in the process. Portugal rewards preparation and patience. You're open to learning Portuguese, not necessarily fluent, but genuinely trying. That single decision transforms the experience. Portugal is not right for you if you need US speed efficiency in government services. The IMAR backlog and document-heavy process will genuinely frustrate you. Your passive income is below the D7 threshold, and your remote work income is below the D8 threshold. You're unwilling to navigate dual-country tax filing. Americans don't get to opt out of US tax obligations by living abroad. You expect Portugal to be America with better weather. It isn't. The pace is different. The culture is different. The successful expats are the ones who adapt to Portugal, not the ones who try to recreate American life with a Portuguese backdrop. This is part 1 of the Complete Portugal Guide. Where are you in the process? Drop it in the comments. Subscribe and like so you don't miss part 2. And grab the free step-by-step reference sheet, link in the description. This is part of a new series, Can Americans Actually Move Here? Covering one country at a time. Until next time, safe travels.